Lee, you've had a really interesting and diversified personal journey, and a lot of what you're doing has a lot of potential applications in your family business. But on the personal side, what got you motivated to create something like Rare Whiskey Holdings?
I grew up in a family where my dad is a serial entrepreneur, and that gave me the inspiration, and it also became my role model. So I wanted to do something that's slightly different from what my family is doing. So I wanted to be a pioneer on my own. But I also knew if I didn't create something different, perhaps my dad and I will never see eye to eye. So that was one of the main reasons why.
Well, as a serial entrepreneur yourself already, one of the things that you've created is Odyssey Ventures, that's all about identifying frontier technologies and decarbonization, which obviously has some pretty interesting applications in the context of your family business, Asia Green Group. What are you excited about in terms of what you're seeing at Odyssey Ventures in these new technologies?
My family business is actually what the real reason why Odyssey Ventures came about. So we've been in the forestry, manufacturing, and then real estate. None of them are carbon friendly, if you will. So they were the reasons why I wanted to venture into this new frontier where I could then bring values back into the family business. And we could be a little bit eco-friendly, given the next generation we're a little bit more environmentally friendly, or at least be conscious about it.
Well, there are elements of Asia Green Group that are legacy businesses going back to the 1960s in terms of plywood manufacture, but the more recent business in terms of construction and both luxury and low-income housing, which I think in and of itself has a very positive impact. But when you look across all your Asia Green Group businesses, what are some of the technologies that Odyssey Ventures has already seen that you can see being directly applicable?
We invested in a company that does generators, so power generator for construction. So instead of using diesel power generator, we're actually switching and using battery power generator. So this batteries comes from the used EV batteries that were in the EV cars, and then we actually reuse that or repurpose it into power generators that we could use on our construction sites.
The construction industry is obviously one that in many ways is progressive, but in many ways has legacy elements that are going to be very difficult to transform, and it's going to take a long time to bring into a sustainable future. So how do you go about prioritizing initiatives within the Asia Green Group as a Chief Strategy Officer?
It is still a business. I think cost is still something that's, we do look at very closely, but we do look at the social impact, right? So if we have a bunch of workers, by the end of the day, they're going to become unhealthy or not able to work. We don't want to have that impact on a social basis. So we do have an entire metrics to measure, is it good for the environment? Is it good socially for the workers that we're hiring? Is it good for the residents around the area? So we have to measure all of that. If the metrics check out, then we'll move ahead with the decision. If the metrics don't check out, then if it's cost saving, like we're making 30% margin, but we're actually bringing in negative impact to the environment and the society around us, then it's definitely not a go ahead for us.
So as one of Malaysia's largest employers and businesses, what are some of the government interactions you have today to help evolve policy in a way that takes Malaysia towards a sustainable future?
I would touch on the reforestation. It is not something that is being promoted heavily just yet, where this business is quite mature around the world. I would say in parts of Indonesia, in South America, or even parts of Africa. Malaysia is sort of slightly behind, but we're working closely with the government to hoping that we could push this initiative forward and have more people in the industry to start replanting. The government is slightly putting in incentives for us to be more eco-friendly. So if you're building green development, there's a little bit of incentive.
How do you think about the innovation ecosystem in Malaysia, Lee? I know you're active in building support for founders from Odyssey Ventures standpoint, and you've got other initiatives underway. How do you think about your role in the innovation ecosystem?
We want to encourage more women coming into this particular space and be innovative with the things that we do, especially supporting other women. Other than creating a support system, it's a lot of pro bono advisory work